Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson Cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn. And now, Crimson Cover.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread of NFL.com. As always, joined by Big John Copeland to my right, former Alabama All-American defensive end, and to my left, senior recruiting analyst Mike Parker. Lots to get into on Crimson Cover this evening. One of our loyal viewers tweeted the other day he wished the show was an hour long. It could be tonight, fellas. That's how much there is to dive in. Of course, we'll be talking about that SEC championship win over the Georgia Bulldogs. Beyond that, Mike Locksley takes the Maryland job. We'll be discussing possible with the coaching moves on the staff and what could follow. Injury updates for you. We'll take a look at how things finished with the CFP rankings in the Final Four. The Wilder Fury fight. It's just, we could go an hour and a half, easy. But we'll start, of course, with the SEC championship game. The Crimson Tide knocks off Georgia in comeback fashion, 35-28, the final score. The first close game Alabama has played all season comes in game 13, and it was tight. And John, Jalen Hurts absolutely stole the show here with kind of a turnabout from what we saw last year against Georgia in the national championship game. It's been the story all week. You could just about make a movie out of the story.
And Chase, I was just about to say that Hollywood could not write a better script than what we saw on Saturday night against the Bulldogs. Things was going really bad. The defense wasn't really doing anything. The offense was really struggling. And even before Tua got hurt, he really wasn't making any plays. I think he was trying to do a little too much. He kept holding on to the ball. He refused to throw the ball away when there was nothing there and kept taking sacks. And I think that's one of the reasons that he got hurt. But with Jalen Hurts, I was waiting for him to come in right after halftime. And I just kept waiting. It took for Tua to get hurt for them to play him, and he came in with a bang.
Mike, what about it? The Crimson Tide's starter last year gives way in the title game and then comes back here in the following postseason in a relief role of his own and plays exceptionally well.
Speechless. Absolutely speechless. Couldn't be any happier. I don't think I've ever been happier for a player in my life. You saw Nick Saban. You ever seen Nick Saban tear up? Nah, I hadn't. But it was, like John said, it's a Hollywood script. It reminds me of Rudy. It's that good of a story. Yeah. He was 7-9, 82 yards, ran for 28 yards and the winning touchdown. He came in there calm, as he always does, cool, delivered the football, was accurate. Didn't turn it over, didn't take a sack. It's unbelievable.
Let me ask you a question. There was a couple of plays when he had to drop back to pass the ball, and we really needed a play.
Yeah.
Deep down, were you thinking, like,
yes.
You really don't know what's about to happen?
Let me jump in here. I'll tell you what.
I was.
So was I.
The first third and 11, when he threw it to the tight end, Irv Smith,
yes.
I was. It was third and 11.
When he rolls to his right, when he bails the pocket and rolls right, I understand that. I'm just saying when I see that, because we've seen enough of it before, you expect it to be a throwaway because usually with Jalen Hurts, he gets to the sideline, there's nothing there, and he throws it away, and they live for another play. In this game, he had a huge play where he rolls right, lofts it out there. You think it's going to go out of bounds because you've seen it so many times. Jalen waddles there for a deep sideline catch. Huge play in the game. That was the play that told me that this night might be special and different for Jalen Hurts.
Every time he dropped back to throw that football in a situation where we needed him to make a play, I didn't know what Jalen we was going to get, and I was nervous. Now, when he took that ball and he took off running to score that touchdown, I was extremely comfortable with that because he does that. That's what he does best, But especially on that third down play when he threw the touchdown pass, rolling to his right, like you said,
he
was directing traffic as he did it. Evidently, this kid had been in the lab, and he figured out exactly what he needs to do.
I think Mike Locksley and Dan Enos should get a lot of the credit. I think those two guys have made Jalen a much more complete
But you got to give Jalen some credit too.
Oh no! I'm not taking anything.
What he's been through, I guarantee you, his mindset is totally different than what it was a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. You know, if he transfers out, I don't care where he goes.
His legacy's safe, right, John? I mean, are you kidding me?
Alabama fans are going to remember
when he
him.
Transfer, I just don't want us to have to play the guy.
I don't either.
I really don't. I swear to God, I don't want to play Jalen Hurts if he leaves this place.
If he doesn't play a lot in the playoffs, we don't. I guess it remains to be seen how Tagovailoa's injury will respond. We'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. But if we've pretty much seen the last of Jalen Hurts, his place in his Alabama history is pretty secure.
That all depends on Tua. It depends on how Tua reacts. It depends on how he comes back from his injury, and if he continue to do what he was doing when he got hurt. I mean, he just didn't play good football. He did not play good football.
Speaking of Tua, we'll turn to that. Mike, it was clearly his worst game of the season, no question about that. He wasn't right from the beginning. He wasn't quite healthy from the beginning. And, of course, I guess an injury is what ultimately knocked him out of the game to open the door for Jalen Hurts. But 10 of 25 with 2 interceptions, including one near the goal line early in the game. That's just not the kind of mistake you see him make. Haven't seen him make a huge error like that.
And
really,
the worst one to me, Chase, was the one that he threw. They said it was not an interception. Who was he throwing that ball to?
He wasn't right. And I'll tell you what else he wasn't doing, Mike. He didn't feel the rush around him like he usually does.
No, he didn't.
Usually has a sense of it and can step away from it or take off or whatever he's got to do. He didn't have a sense of it this time.
He looked confused. For the first time this season, he looked absolutely confused. When he was going through his progressions, he wasn't finding anybody. And that hadn't happened all season. And so what happened is he started throwing. He threw that first interception. Then he started piling up sacks. He never threw the ball away. He was looking for the home run hit the whole ball game.
Yes.
And like you just said, that is probably why he got hurt.
Yes.
Is because he wasn't throwing the ball away.
The Heisman Trophy coming up this weekend. Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray, the two names everybody's talking about. Of course, Tagovailoa, the favorite all season, John. But here, with this game against Georgia being not a good game at all, the worst game either one of those two quarterbacks have played all year. And Kyler Murray lights up Texas in the Big 12 championship game. Is this a horse race?
Going into this Georgia game, I thought it was Tua hands down. But after watching this Georgia game and watching how Kyler Murray played against Texas, I know it's going to be a photo finish. I think
it's going to be down. It's going to be one of the closest in history, is what I think.
Because when you think about the societies, what have you done for me lately?
And Kyler Murray never played against a good defense all season long. I will say
that's
that.
That's not his fault, though.
We got more SEC championship game to talk in the second segment. Stay with us through the break. We'll be talking about the SEC title game and plenty more at CCTV on WVUA 23.